Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm not a content creator that creates content based on other content. And I've never watched Mr. Beast. But, a couple months ago, I talked about these ads that were being spammed about Mr. Beast and his casino. And yeah, I was saying that stuff well before everybody else was, before he was exposed. Because I might have said this in my last freaking video. On my vlog style, kind of you'll do that. Kind of forget that you might have touched on something the last time. But the positive is I'm not scripting anything, right? Because yeah. They literally were saying that you're going to make, like, a lot of money if you just play a lot. You know that's bullcrap. And, yeah, the Joe Rogan ad. Now that I'm talking about this, yeah, I did talk about this last time. I'm getting to that age, man. I'm getting to that age. I am getting to that age. Jeez. Yeah, it's like the Warren Buffett said like years ago. If something sounds too good to be true, often it is. These gambling apps with AI talking about if we can play this video game here, these blackjack and get rich. So it'll be persuasive, especially when they use icons, cultural icons, cult figures, and the cult of personality, like Elon Musk. There's a casino with Elon Musk app, yeah. The universal income idea, I like it. However, the amount that they're offering is not enough to make it beneficial. What you have to think about is like, yeah, rent and basic needs for food. I'm not like saying that people should be able to live in luxury while they're living on the taxpayer's dime. But yeah, to be able to pay the basic bills. People, it's like, how anal do you want to get? Should you have someone not be able to watch TV or use the internet, just be able to pay rent and only basic needs for food only? Or some nominal stuff, like internet basic cable, or, actually, the Max app, it's, if you just allow like the internet and the Max app and have the Max HBO be like, hey man, we'll give you a deal. If you give us a deal and then include that, then they wouldn't need cable. We could just have the internet and freaking have the Max app, and therefore be able to basically watch anything, and I think maybe a better idea under that is not to give cash, to give a voucher, like, you know what I mean? Kind of like a Section 8 deal, where the government directly pays that on behalf of the person. Then you're guaranteeing that. But then again, I mean, if it's universal income, you know what I mean? Who says that they need to pay it that way? That's another angle. But you want to control people who are not going to be wise with their money, who are still going to be in problems. like the student loan forgiveness, it's okay. But if they're going to go and take another student loan, then it's not okay, because now they're in debt again. So, I mean, you have to have some kind of control over preventing the debt. Hey, okay, if you're going to take another student loan, then you're going to have to pay back what we've forgiven you. Then you're solving that problem. Because if you're going to just take more loans after you've been forgiven or have bankruptcy, then you're losing money for everybody, including yourself. And then it's, you know what I mean? It's, you can't be like, I'm going to wipe your slate clean and then you're going to take debt again. You know what I mean? That's just, but it's idea. I understand. I mean, a lot of what makes me feel good is what I do. A lot of people can feel good based on how they think. I think, therefore I am, right? The old, I forget, philosopher based on that idea, a clean slate. But some people need to provide the results to feel good. Because if you can just think it, then what the frick? You don't have to back it up. How are you going to really feel good? You know, you feel good by what you do. That's another ties into the idea of, like, say, I'm not really a religious person. I'm not. I'm not close-minded on things. The idea about ideas and how, you know, perhaps our brain is just collecting our environment and our ideas are taken from the environment. And then we're kind of like downloading, like we're a biological computer where we've downloaded all this information that we're unaware that we've downloaded into our brain and we're utilizing it. And that's the idea of, like, God giving us some ideas, is that we've been downloading it, sort of, kind of. That's where we got it, which begs the question about, like, good and evil. If there is a God, why the hell did he create us to do evil? How come he gave us the inspiration to do evil things, to have evil desires? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's crazy. You know, God wants us all to be good, but then he gives evil freaking impulses, which then turns into the secular idea that it's biology and impulses and freaking neurons and pathways and shit, and it's just people are freaking nuts. Like yesterday, I didn't choose to watch this video, it came up, but this girl in Florida set this cashier on fire, Jesus, at a gas station. And, you know, how she was behaving in the interview, fucking lunacy. Laughing, thinking it's funny. It's like, there are people out there that just are freaking mental. Freaking mentally crazy. You know what I mean? It's just, there's just, like, it's baffling. You know, you might think there's an intent for evil. Obviously there is. But she just has wires crossed in her brain that just thinks it's funny, that people are just, like, void of any kind of compassion, just think it's hilarious. Someone made her mad, and therefore are going to set you on fire. I mean, there's another video of a kid who's in 6th grade who got mad at another 6th grader for not paying for a video game that I guess that he owed and didn't pay. And yeah, that was crazy. That was like 12 years ago I saw that video. All of a sudden now the kid's on fire because the kid doused him. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, there's a lot of craziness that human beings do. And yeah, you have to, it leads you to think of the secularity rather than the God-given idea, because it makes no logical sense. If you're an omnipotent God and you're creating everything, that you're gonna give impulses to humans and know that you're God. And how people really have a hard time curbing their enthusiasm, their impulses. It's hard. Like when I'm eating like shit, I've now eaten back to eating clean. You know, Joe Rogan, he's like, oh, it's just a choice. Yeah, it is a choice, but it's not that easy. You know, because I love that cake. I love that freaking ice cream. I love eating that kind of food. You know, when I'm feeling good about productivity, because that's basically how I make myself feel good, is by how I produce. It's part and why I can be mad and still work. Is like, yeah, you know that people have a hard time if they have an impulse in their brain. It's an emotionally driven idea or something. It's hard for them to change their mind. They're gonna, in the war of their feeling, the feeling often is gonna win out, right? I mean, unless they've learned to be able to curb it. And I think the best way to curb these, if you have a drive, is to simply like not gratify it. Like when it comes to like eating shit food, you just, if you don't gratify it and you delay it, it goes away. You know, then it weakens. You know, but people, they give in to their impulses. You know, it's like, yeah, man, there's another video. This woman's being crazy, talking about imitators, identity theft. And she was going around harassing people who just coincidentally put highlights in their hair. And she would notice that. And she's like, I have highlights in my hair. You know, you would think that it would be comedy, but it wasn't for her. She was just a paranoid, delusional person. But you would think it was comedy, dude. Someone talking about identity theft and that for, you know, in that fashion, dude. It's insane. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. It's crazy freaking stuff, man. So the idea of possessing the sin, if I was a religious person, I would not believe that that's what sends you to hell. Because then, I don't know, man. Sometimes the people who pretend to be so perfect are not perfect at all. They're just making, yeah, some of those people are the ones that are the worst, right? So it's the acting of the sin that I believe is the sin, right? I mean, if you don't act on it and you've never done it, then that makes you the better person. You know? So that's another thing. It's like thinking about like possessing the sin. Then if possessing the sin, then what the hell, man? It's a bleak future. Maybe that's the reason why a lot of people engage in evil, is because now that they feel that they've possessed the evil, it's already too late. So therefore they go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? Because now I possess it. Now I'm condemned and I'm gonna be tormented forever and ever and ever. Yeah, then you kind of like, you know what I mean? What's their incentive to behave? To simplify it, I don't know, but if you're tormented forever and ever, you'll adapt to it. You know, if that's all you know, you would learn to adapt. So I guess if you ever find yourself, and I hope nobody does, if religion's true and you're in hell, I hope that you learn and that you pick up this little tidbit of information. Learn to adapt to it and learn to not want the other. So therefore, as you're being tormented, you remember, oh yeah, if I don't desire to be good or have good experience and to accept this, therefore it doesn't matter. Therefore, when you're being tormented, you're not going to be tormented because you're not going to want to have a different experience. You can embrace the hell. And then freaking, hey dude, you can just be like, ha ha, the ultimate fucking troll, man. Because if you don't possess the desire to want a good experience, then being tormented, that takes a lot of the hell away from being tormented and helps you adapt to being tormented. So that's maybe another idea I just came up with. We'll have classes, just like church. Church teaches people to prepare for heaven. And I will create classes to prepare for hell. For those who not are evil, okay? But those who are living good lives, but yet haven't lived perfect. You know what I mean? These people have not like beaten people up. They don't, you know what I mean? But yet, you know, they might possess sin in their mind, but they don't act on it. But yet, they might go to hell because they're not living perfectly pious lives. And because they didn't embrace Christ as their Savior. Therefore, they're going to hell. But these people might not have ever beaten anybody up. They might not have ever swore at anybody or stole anything from anybody. But yet, they didn't really believe in Christ. So therefore, they're going to hell. So I'll create a class for these people. Prepare for hell. You know what I mean? To help you get through hell when you get there. And I'll make a fuck ton of money, dude. Be awesome. Prepare for hell. And that's what I'll teach them. It's like, what would make hell? Hell is your desire to have a different experience, to be in a positive. So get rid of that desire to need a different experience and embrace what you're going through. Which leads to I believe in hard work to try to change your situation. It's your responsibility to try to change your situation if you're not doing well in life. Absolutely. There is a responsibility that you have to try to better your life. So I guess this would be teaching the opposite of that. If you're in poverty and you're living like crap, rather than try to work your way out of it, just embrace it and live in it. Perhaps that's what a lot of people that are homeless, living on the side of the street, have done it for years. Maybe that's a little bit of the reason why, they are that way, is because they don't try. And they just realize that being homeless, and I don't know. I guess that would be the way to do it if you're going to do like a challenge of, I'm going to be homeless for a year. I don't know, man. That's the way. And I'll make money, Preparing for hell. You can adapt to anything. I've read some Buddhist stuff written by the monks. I think it was called BuddhaNet.net or something. And their idea is like the 31 planes of existence, and you go up and down, and there's 7 layers of hell below our level, and you can move up and down through them. And I'm like, well, I'm reading that. I'm like, well, now that makes sense. You go to hell in one of the planes, and I guess the animal plane is like 2 planes below us. Then you can circumvent that and then go up. You know, the idea, planes. I don't know, man. It's a funky world, man. It's a funky world. At the end of the day, you know, just live your life to the best, honest effort. Don't cause any harm and do what you want to do. You know, don't waste your life today because you think you have an afterlife, you know what I mean? Because then you're wasting your life. You know, so live today like it's your last. I guess I didn't come up with that. I forget who did, but that's an old statement. That kind of like, yeah, ideas. Kind of takes away the idea of free will, though. We've really kind of been downloaded with information, like, you know, that we're basically thinking what we've been inseminated with, you know, from the get-go, and it's been passed around, and we choose what we think, but the thoughts that we think have been pretty much, that we pretty much have taken in through osmosis, I guess, through our audio, and yeah, it really makes you think about your ears and your eyes, because without those two, the brain being able to utilize your eyes and your ears, you wouldn't. That's a good study right there. If you have deaf, mute people or blind, deaf people, how are they thinking about the world? Then you can really isolate the social, because obviously if they're blind and they're deaf, and their ideas would be true to them, they didn't pick it up because they can't hear it, but they can't see it and they can't hear it. Well, then it shows their physical, tactile senses, their world, right? And their ideas would be original to them. Can't say they're copying anybody. It's almost like twin studies. But it makes you value your senses, your sight and your audio. I'm grateful to have that, you know, because I like music. I like being able to freaking speak. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world. And so universal income, going back around to it, you know, on some level, you kind of are wasting your life if you're working all the time. You know, the balance, work-life balance. Who says that universal income can't be a bad thing? If it creates people to live better, you know, that would be like a stipulation. It's like, you've got to behave yourself to receive this. Obviously. And, you know, the idea is if you have your fundamental needs met, you're going to be better, and I believe that. But it doesn't always mean that. People who have their needs met are freaking, yeah, it can go the opposite way. The person who has nothing to lose does whatever, and the person who's so rich feels so entitled they do whatever, because they don't have that, because, you know, they're so freaking rich, they don't have to care what you think. People are like, oh, Elon Musk, he doesn't care. Well, he doesn't have to care. He's rich enough to where your thoughts don't affect him. You know what I mean? My thinking he's an a-hole, not that I do. I don't think he's an a-hole, you know, but you thinking he's an a-hole, or anybody, it doesn't affect him. The consequence isn't there. It's freaking useless. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing for the extreme rich who are selfish and don't have to care what you think. And they can be callous and do whatever. And just the same as someone who's crazy and mentally ill. That's, I guess, tying into like the Buddhist stuff that I read about the middle way. And, I'm really about the middle way, to be honest with you. I'm a centrist. I think actually the middle path is the logical way of being. Avoid extremes. I really believe that. I don't pick a side. I think actually being balanced. Yeah, like eating like shit's okay, but eating like shit every single day is not the way. Oh. Yeah, have it a treat rather than every day freaking eating like crap, eating pizza and cake, ice cream. You balance your life. Try to. Don't go to freaking extremes. That's what people are doing. They're freaking going to extremes. And yeah. Live your life. Be balanced. Work and play. Work and play. Yeah. Be balanced in life, right? I mean, yeah, I guess that's so the hate about people who need help. I'm not really about that. Obviously, I'd be kind of a hypocrite if I was with the bankruptcy. I don't know if it got... I think it got approved. I'm not sure yet. It's possible it's going to get rejected. So the Wells Fargo did reverse their charges on me, saying due to bankruptcy, they reversed their fees, which led me to think that it got approved. So, yeah, it'd be kind of hypocritical for me to be sitting on a podium on my mini platform. Hey, I appreciate, and I really do, seeing my 119 subscribers, and I hope that people do subscribe, and I appreciate that. It's pretty cool. I have almost equal. I saw the stats, 42 and 43% from 25 to 50. It's pretty cool. That's exactly kind of like the demographic that I'd be aiming for if I was aiming for it. That's perfect. So it's cool. Yeah. So it'd be hypocritical for me to be like, hey man, if those people who ever freaking, hating on people that need help or whatever. But, if you can, it opens up your eyes to a different way that you can be a good citizen. Not only by going to work and paying your taxes, but you could be a good citizen by just being a good person. Who says that someone would have to pay taxes? What if they were just like living their life and they like volunteered and did stuff like that for the community? That's another way of looking at it. So all right. I'm gonna be working today, of course. Caffeine's kicked in, and I will catch you guys later.